Time for the Trader's Edge this morning. Art Cashin's Director of Floor Operations at UBS Financial Services. Good morning to you, Art.
Good morning, Carl.
So 3.5 on GDP. Were you impressed?
Yeah, I was somewhat impressed. I was looking for a slightly lower number, but to tell you the truth, that's so rear view mirror. I mean, that's yesterday, and now we got to look. I was a little more concerned about the initial unemployment claims hanging up there, still above 500,000. That's 500,000 of our fellow workers who got pink slips this week.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of fun.
What does it mean the continuing claims came down? Leisman suggested those people might be migrating to other benefits. Does it mean anyone's hiring in this country?
No, I don't think so. I think they might be migrating. They may have just seen their benefits expire. It may be a variety of other things. I don't think the continuing claims are telling us a great deal. I hate to keep harping on it, but initial claims are this week, actually last week, okay?
Yeah.
So 500,000 people got a pink slip last week, and the week before 500,000 people, and the week before 500,000 people. That's not redounding very good in the neighborhood, and it's not going to help at Christmas at all.
Yeah. You still think the dollar is the key to watch, and you think that yesterday's action could have been much worse if the currency had been even more volatile?
We came within a hairbreadth of a kind of meltdown. I mean, you know, I've been watching markets for 5 decades now, and if that dollar had begun to spike a little bit further, things just might have come unglued. The real risk here is the dollar is so influential in this market that if you start to get a short covering rally or a real move up in the dollar, markets are going to begin to look like they looked in the middle of last year when we saw asset classes just melting down.
You wrote this morning that if there had been a few wrong ticks yesterday, the Dow could have plunged 800 points yesterday alone. Is that right?
I think so. I think so. I think if the dollar had started to spike after they were already down about 100, it wouldn't take more than a snap of a twig to move them.
So with a relatively stable dollar than today, is it possible that that we do a bit of a rally here in the midst of this, what appears to be a correction?
Yeah, all you have to have is for the dollar not to have any Halloween pranks here. If it behaves, we're very, very oversold. We're enormously oversold on several historical levels. You're due for a bounce, but it's all about the dollar. You can see oil is coming back. You're right, the dollar's behaving. Keep your eye on oil and the dollar, and you'll see which way the market's going to go.
We'll see what happens as we head into a Friday. Today is the 29th. Anniversary of 1929.
Yeah, yes, it is, and that's why yesterday was somewhat scary for us old-timers. People who have been schooled on it realize that sometimes when a market starts to sell off, all you need is somebody to just push it a little bit over the edge, and it goes pretty far. Yeah. Luckily, it didn't happen.
Art, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Good to see you again. Art Cashin.
Art was not on the floor of the stock exchange.
No, he wasn't.
Years ago.
He was just a young trader.
No.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Art.
Anyway, coming up, our guest host